Good evening, everybody. Live in the Pits of Motor Chaos with your host Dave, and I got on with Joe Haas, Quick Draw, Nitro Funny Car driver. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Dave. How about you?
Pretty good. It's Friday the 13th.
It is Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
That's my lucky day, man.
Yeah, I had a good day. So Joe, what got you started into the drag racing?
Well, I started crewing with Ron Evans and Sean Evans. Back, let's see, probably about 96, something like that. And crewed with them on Top Alcohol Dragster for a while. And 2005, started driving for Justin Grant in Alcohol Funny Car. And been going ever since. Of course, you know, when we was young, did, some hot rods, some street rods, and stuff like that. But didn't start driving until about 2005.
2005, you got behind the wheel of Nitro and Methane?
Well, I started in an Alcohol Funny Car. We did that for 1 year. Then myself and Justin Grant built a Nitro Funny Car that we had got from the West Coast. Built it, run it for a year, and then we recreated the Don Schumacher Stardust Nitro Funny Car, nostalgia car, and went from there. After that, I think we did the Wonder Wagon, and that's how I kind of got started.
In 2012, you drove for the Owsleys?
Yeah, 2012, 2011, 2012, I believe, drove for Frank Alpley and his wife, Deb, won the World Series at drag racing against none other than Dale Worsham, 2012. He was the reigning top field champ at the time, so that was a pretty good moment right there to beat him, in Funny Car there at the World Series.
Yeah. That must have been a great moment.
Oh, yeah, it was good, to get out at the end and know that you beat Dale Worsham. And he's a good dude. Him and his dad both, we've been around that quite a bit. And great guys. Of course, he used to run the nostalgia car also, which I don't think he has anymore. He's still involved with it some. But, yeah, it's a good day.
Now, Joe, who are some of your inspirations when you started drag racing?
Well, I always liked Dale Pulley. And still do. Still keep up with him some. He drove so many cars for so many different people and always did good. I really look up to him. Of course, Jungle Jim, the Snake and the Mongoose, John Force, been around forever. Just a bunch of them, I remember sitting around, I'm from Texas, from East Texas, sitting around as a kid and used to watch the Diamond P shows that they had, mainly crashes and wrecks and stuff like that, and looking at these funny cars thinking, how cool they were. Never in a million years did I ever get to think that I would drive one. Might be, even be around them. And here it is, it's the major part of my life now, so I'm pretty fortunate to be able to do that.
Yeah, Jungle Jim Lieberman, he was one of a kind.
One of a kind, man. Him and Jungle Pam. I mean, they put on a show, and that's what we do a lot of now is match racing, which is kind of a dying thing, but it's kind of swinging back a little bit. The fans enjoy it, and that's what Jungle Jim is known for, getting out there match racing, putting on a show.
Yeah, that back in the days, I remember when I started going to drag racing with my dad back in when I was about 4 or 5, at Great Lakes Dragway in Union Grove, Wisconsin, and Indiana, US 30 drag strip.
Right.
Yeah, you see all the funny cars out there.
Yeah, I remember, going to the drag strip when I was younger, just looking at the alcohol cars, and every now and then there'd be a Nitro car in there, and, just never in a million years would I thought I'd get to do what I'm doing. It's just crazy.
Now you got the Nitro fever, huh?
Oh, yeah, I've got it, and I've passed it on to my son, he's got it, and there's nothing like it, there's not a sport on the planet that's like it. I tell people that, I'll tell them to come out to a race, and, when they do, they just can't believe it, because TV just don't do it justice. You just got to stand beside these cars when they take off, and once they go, like I tell everybody, once you go one time, you'll be darned.
Yeah, if you watch on TV, you can't hear the full sound, and you can't feel the earth shaking.
Absolutely not. You've just got to be there to witness it. It still amazes me how you can get that much horsepower out of a V8 engine and then apply it to the track. I've been doing it for a long time now, and it amazes me every time we get to the finish line how that's possible. But it is. We do it. It's nuts. Nothing like it.
And then, of course, in person, they could get to smell the nitromethane.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to that, man. That stuff, there's guys and gals that will stand right up there next to the headers, during a warm-up and just breathe it all in. And myself, I got to have my gas mask. I'm a little bit of a wimp. I love it, but it just overcomes me. I got to bail or have that gas mask.
Yeah, I see that in a lot of videos of the crews at the top fuel funny cars. They're all wearing the gas mask, the whole crew.
Yeah. You get under the canopy there whenever you're in the pits, and that nitro, it lingers right there, and it does me in. I see some of these old timers, though, they get right in there and turn and adjust this and adjust that, and never wear a mask. And I don't know how they do it. I'm still a little wimp, I guess.
Do your eyes get teared up?
Oh yeah. I'll have tears and. My nose will be running, I can't breathe, and finally, if I don't wear a mask, my lungs just shut down. My body just says, all right, you're done, you're not breathing no more. So I'll just pull the fuel lever, if I ain't got a mask on, I got to get out and get some fresh air.
Now you were mentioning your son having a thing for nitro, and right now he's doing alcohol, so he just had a good weekend recently.
Yeah, he was, he runs his alcohol car, the Nimrod funny car. He also has a coupe body for that, so he runs it as a fuel altered son. He was just in Flagstaff, Missouri, down there at Jeffers Motorsports Park a couple of weeks ago, running against Rocky Alsick, and I think he beat him both times, which we like Rocky. Rocky's good dude, got a good car. But dude's just down there match racing, and Joey, my son, he caught on good, We started teaching him at a young age, and he's just caught on to tuning them. He's got his own crew, runs the whole deal, does good. But he does have his fuel license also. He's got the same license I got. He got licensed in Tom Mosley's drastic plastic. And I think his second hit, he ran a 543 at 230, and only 1,000-foot shut-off, It was 353 at 220 to the 8th mile. So the kid's got it going on, We're just waiting for the right opportunity to get him into a fuel car.
Yeah, the Great Lakes Nostalgia Funny Car Circuit, they're a great bunch of people. They
are. Dennis Wallsummer, he's just a great dude. He's got a very good group of guys. We've run with them for a while with Joey's car, with the alcohol car, and that's a good group right there. And they put on a hell of a show. They got several cars strung out all over the Midwest and out east. Now and then there'll even be a couple come in from the West Coast, but they put on a great show.
Now, Joe, you drove the Jurassic Classic before too, right?
Yeah, I drove it probably when I got out of Houseway's car. It wasn't long, just a few months through the winter, and then Tom Mosley called me and asked if I'd be willing to drive his car for a while, and I did, and we did good in it. We set the world record for fuel altered ET at 528 at 275 miles an hour. Now, Ron Fackle, the late Ron Fackle, still owns the speed record at 286 in Denver, which is a monster speed for fuel altered. But we do hold the ET world record with the Jurassic Classic.
And you're still waiting for someone to break that record, huh?
Yeah. We're kind of keeping an eye on them guys down there in Texas with the War Wagon, Howard Ferris and his son Shane Ferris and crew. They're doing good. We run against them with match race. Myself, the quick draw car, my boss John Lawson with the runaway car, and the Jurassic Classic was there, and the War Wagon come up for that night of fire, July the 4th deal at Eddyville. The War Wagon, they run a 349 and only 185 miles an hour through the 8th mile. So that right there, if if given a quarter mile, that would be a world record. They have not run quarter mile yet, but they're working on it. So that's a car to keep your eyes on right there. That's a badass hot rod.
Yeah. Now, the Jurassic Classic has some amazing header flames, but you guys have some good flames now, you and John.
Yeah, we it's 8 or 10 foot header flames, and we get it from using the big tank. Over the roof header flames, and that's what the fans want to see. With this outlaw deal and doing this match racing, the fans are the winners. They dig it because it's got the big show sound. The big burnouts and stuff. Of course, we don't limit our burnout. We'll take it on out there good ways, and the big header flames, so the crowd really gets into it.
Now, how did you hook up with John Lawson?
Well, we were friends, when I was driving for Moultrie, and he was going to build a second car. He had talked to me about it and was wondering if I could drive it on the weekends that I was not driving for Moultrie. And I said, sure, and then Moultrie decided to go a different direction. So when I got that call, I immediately called John Lawson, and he's like, well, that's kind of a done deal, He already had the second car in the works. So he actually turned the green car over to me to drive with the 2001 Firebird body on it. We run it for a year and then put together this 70 Firebird body. So it was kind of a no-brainer. I just went straight over from Moultrie to Austin.
Now, Joe, how did it feel to get behind the wheel of a Nitro methane car for the first time?
Well, it is humbling. My buddy Sean Evans, he was outside the first time. He said my eyes look like saucers. When that engine fires and the body drops, it's humbling. You got to get used to it. The first couple of times you're a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious, and you just work through that. And as you get past, there's pass after pass, more experience. I still learn every time. You just get a little bit better, a little more comfortable with it, and as comfortable as you can be, sitting on the bomb pretty much. But that first time, it's like nothing else.
Now, do you have any idea how John came up with the name Quick Draw for the car?
Well, we had talked about several different names. Of course, I'm an outdoors person, and I like to hunt and stuff. And we'd come up with a couple of different names. His wife actually come up with Quick Draw, and it kind of fits me. So it just stuck. So it was actually Lisa Lawson, John's wife, that come up with the name, and that's what it is. So we like it.
Yeah, it's a cool name. No.
Yeah.
Now, how many crew members do you have for the funny car?
We've got 4 designated crew per car. Then we got a couple of floaters. That kind of bounce back and forth from car to car. So we've got 12 total, counting me and John, we'd have 12. But 4 would stay on my car, and then 4 would stay on his car, like I said, a couple of floaters. So, when we pull up, we got a couple of people to work on these things. So, we don't hold up the show. Usually we turn them around pretty quick.
So what are the names of the main crew members that work on your car mostly?
On my crew, I got my son Joey. He goes with me whenever I'm racing. He's there. Sean Evans, that I used to crew for, kind of full circle there because I crewed on his car. Now he crews on my car. And we call K2 because we got 2 Kevins. So K2, Kevin Bryant, is on my car also. And then Todd, he bounces back and forth from bottom end to bottom end. And we got Mike Stoley on the runaway, Carl on the runaway. Hank is our tutor for both cars. If you get out there and see us, he's the big dude. I don't think anybody'd want to mess with him. He kind of takes charge, and he's just a damn good tutor, a good dude.
Yeah. So, is the season done for you now?
Say again?
Is the racing season done for you now?
Yeah, it's done. We're going to be going through the cars, tearing everything apart, getting everything recertified through the winter. But our last race was up in Martin, Michigan at US 131 for that Funny Car Nationals back on September the 8th and 9th. Now, sometimes we'll do a car show, during the winter. People will call or whatever for some sponsors or something like that. We'll get out and do a car show. But the racing's done till next year, so we'll be working on next year's schedule coming up here in the next couple months.
Now, will we see you guys at the World Series again next year?
Well, I hope so. That's one of my favorite races, I've won it a couple of times, just exhibition, and then won it with the Owsley's car, in the DRO series for points and stuff, a qualified field. But I like that race. I like that track. I like the staff. That's one of my favorite places to go. So I sure hope so. If they invite us back, we'll be there.
Sounds good. So what's the quickest run time you've had with the quick draw?
With this body here was in Martin, Michigan, back in September, and we run a 5:38 at 271. With the 2001 body, with the modern body, we run a 5:26 at mid-260s. I can't remember, but a 5:26. And there's no doubt with this nostalgia body, it'll do 5:20s, no doubt about it. Maybe even 5:10s on the right night. And it does not have the big dump truck spoiler, so the mile an hour will be up around 280. John, with the runaway car, he's run 5:30s at 278. So we're right there in the 5:20s and 30s around that 280 mark.
So when you go on a starting line with John, are you looking to beat him?
I'm looking every time I step on the pedal. I don't care who's in the other lane, whether it be a match race, a qualified field. Every time I hit the gas, I want to win, and I'm doing everything I can to get to the finish line first every single time. So
is it like one of those things where you guys are great friends off the starting line? When you hit the starting line, it's a whole different ball game.
Oh yeah, we're good friends. But when that engine starts and the body drops, it's another competitor, and he's the same way. He's been doing it for years and years. So he's the same way. He wants to beat me, and I want to beat him. The cars are, they're in the same ballpark as the tune-up, but we just want to see who can get there first. He's pretty good on the tree. He usually trees me. I'm an old 70, 080 guy, and he's usually an 030 to 050 guy, which is damn good for one of these Nitro cars, but he's good at it. So I try to step up my game on the tree a little bit, but he usually gets me on the tree.
So who got the best of who this season?
He got the best of me this season, for sure. I think I only got him a couple of times out of several. Now, last year, season before last, I beat him up pretty good, and then this year he beat me up pretty good. But we was trying to figure out this new body, and we was shaking the tires and stuff in the beginning. We had some clutch problems, and so I had several aborted runs as he was getting to the finish line. I was getting to the 8th mile, which is not good. But we got that figured out now. Next year is going to be on next year.
So where do you guys get your nitromethane from?
John usually gets it. He gets it at various places. I really couldn't tell you from day to day where he's getting it.
Ever you go to Schumacher?
I think he's gone to Schumacher, and he's, Peanut, Tracy, and just different places. Like I say, I'm not sure where he goes every time. I'm usually not there. He'll pick that up. I live 3 hours from where the cars stay. The cars are up in Joliet, Illinois, up by Chicago, and I'm probably 3 hours south of there. So usually when he goes and picks up the Nitro, I'm not even there.
Now, does the Quick Draw have any sponsors?
Yeah, we got Staples, GMC Cadillac from Indiana, Gilbert Trucking, Joliet Suspension, and it's on both of the cars. They sponsor both of the cars, Quick Draw and the Runaway.
Now, when you're getting ready for a weekend of drag racing, what do you do to prepare?
Throughout the week, I just, I'm thinking about the race, what it entails, whether it be a match race or a qualified deal. I mainly start to gather my thoughts as it gets closer in the pits. I'll be going through the car and just looking at everything 2, 3, 4 times. And then when I get into stage when I'm belted in, that's kind of my alone time. That's when I'm going through my mind, I'm conditioning my mind for things that could happen. Staying in the groove, trying to focus on the groove, focus on the tree. All of that I go through while I'm sitting in the lanes, belted in, kind of my, like I say, my alone time. And then once the engine fires, you're on auto. I mean, it's just autopilot from there on out, once the engine fires and body drops.
Right. Now, on a race day, do you have any certain eating habits, or you just eat regularly?
I don't eat much. I don't eat much on race day. I don't know why, really. I try to stay hydrated, but I'm just not that hungry. I think I just focus on so much other stuff, I just don't eat much. Now, afterwards, once the weekend's done, I'll eat like crazy for about 3 days. It trains you. If it's a 2-day event, and if it's hot, especially 90, 95 degrees, I won't eat much going through a couple of days, and then, by the time we get back home on Sunday or whatever, I'll eat like a maniac till about Wednesday. Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite tracks to run on?
Well, I love Martin, Michigan, and I love Cordova. That would be my 2 favorite tracks. Martin, Michigan is great, nice, smooth track. Like I say, Cordova, I love it too. The staff at Cordova is awesome. My favorite 8-mile track is definitely Eddyville. Route 66, we like it too. It's just a dadgum big, man. I mean, when you get there, you feel intimidated. You just look out at the stand, it's just huge. But a great racing surface. But I'd have to say Cordova and Martin, Michigan, probably be a toss-up.
What do you prefer, quarter mile or 1/8 mile?
I prefer quarter mile. Yeah, I really do. But I enjoy 8 mile also. I'm not one of your guys that's against the 8 mile. I do like it also, but I do prefer the quarter mile.
Now, where do you get your fire suit from?
I've got a Stroud. I've actually had this suit for 10 years. It's still good. Had it restarted a couple of times. But, I'm looking into a DJ safety. Big Ben, he treats us right. My son just actually won that 20th anniversary DJ safety suit, which was awesome. So I'm looking at getting a DJ safety suit in the next upgrade. Most of our safety equipment is DJ safety.
Now, do you know what year the Quick Trail Funny Car was built?
It was built last year.
Last year?
Yep. It's a Rossetti body. Both of them, the Runaway and the Quick Draw are Rossettis, and ours, the Quick Draw was built last year. Yeah, it's a brand new body.
Now, in your career drag racing, have you ever had any accidents or near accidents at all?
I've been off the end of the track a couple of times, nothing serious, and I did hit the wall, not bad, bumped the wall into drastic plastic, up at Martin, Michigan. Out there about 8 mile, maybe a little past 8 mile. That's probably 200, 210 mile an hour, something like that. It hit a flip spot or broke tracks or something, and it took a hard right. And as I brought it back, it didn't bump the wall then, but it kind of bounced to the left and then come back to the right. And on that second swing, the back right split hit the wall. Didn't hurt the body, put a little scuff mark on it, and put a little concrete in the feedlot, but that was about it. That's probably my worst. I know in Owsley's car in the Crop Duster, that year of the World Series that I won the World Series 2012, first round, I believe I was against Bag in the Down Under Thunder, and when I did my burnout, it did that death wobble. Well, as I'm backing up, I knew that something was wrong with my steering. Now, I still had some steering, but something was wrong. And when I took off, it wouldn't quite line up correctly. So I mashed the gas, and it went left, but I could not steer. So I let off the fuel pedal, and it was able to steer when it wasn't under load. So I steered it back, got on the gas, it went left again, let off, steered it back. And what had happened is the steering box had cracked on the top tube there on the chassis, and it would flex. As I give it gas, give it fuel, it would lock up where it went through the hoop. Going down the drag link, it would lock up right there and wouldn't allow me to steer it. So I figured it out fairly quick, subconsciously. I was able to steer it with the fuel pedal because I'd hit the fuel, it'd go left, I'd lift, steer it back to the right, hit the fuel again, did that 4 times. And Baz was having problems also, so I was able to get that first round win. Had I not got through that, then I would not have won the World Series. So I'm glad I was able to get down there. That was a pretty shaky moment there, too.
Well, knock on wood, you never have any major accidents or anything.
No. I mean, blown up, been on fire a couple times, but nothing major. And I hope it stays like that. I don't like accidents.
Nah, nobody does.
Right.
Now, you ready for some fun questions?
Yeah, man. Bring it on.
If someone gave you $150 million and said, hey, Joe, build me a drag race track, where would you build it? What kind of features would you put in it?
Oh, man. The spot would be tough. To tell you the truth, it'd probably be like Nebraska, or eastern Colorado, eastern Wyoming, somewhere a little further west than where I am now. There seems to be a gap there. I know you got Boise that's got a track, Topeka, but that Nebraska, eastern Colorado, eastern Wyoming, I know you got Denver there, but South Dakota, Montana, North Dakota, they don't have no tracks. Now, I know that's getting a little far north, but you still, you got Minnesota Raiders and all that stuff. So, yeah, it'll probably be somewhere in Nebraska or eastern Wyoming or something like that, just because I like the West. As far as features of the track, it would not be a 4. It would be a 2. It would be a quarter mile with a huge step down. I don't know. I have to think on the features. I'd probably have a stage because I would have a band out there. Not near every race weekend. I'd have to have a band.
Now, would you put a cover over the fans in the grandstands to keep the sun away?
Yeah, more than likely. That would be a good option because I've raced Bowling Green quite a bit. They've got that covered grandstand, which helps the fans for sure. And I think it probably helps the acoustics also because can you imagine getting that from both sides? I mean, if that's going off the top, coming from the bottom, that's pretty good there.
Yeah. Now, outside of drag racing, do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I hunt a lot, and that's kind of where the quick draw comes from. But I like shooting sports, I'm into the guns or stuff like that, and I do a lot of hunting. I don't buy a lot of meat. Usually what I'm eating, I have taken myself from the field, and that's just something that I've always done. I was raised country. I'm still country. That's just kind of how I live. That's probably my biggest hobby other than drag racing.
Now, you just went on a hunting trip recently, right?
Yeah, we just got back from western Wyoming, northwestern Wyoming. We was on an elk hunt. I usually go out there every year for a month, 6 weeks, me and my wife. Charlie, she hunts too. And this year, it was usually we do good, get an elk or 2. This year, it snowed. It started snowing mid-September, and it snowed 18 out of 23 days that we was there. And I don't mean a little snow. It was a couple of feet of snow. You can check out my Facebook page for anybody that might be listening. Check out my Facebook page. There's some cool pictures and videos on there. September snow, of course, we was up at 10,000 feet. It was a tough hunt, but I enjoy it. We usually go down to Florida every year also to hunt hogs and turkeys, and we do a lot of fishing down there.
What do you go fishing for in Florida?
I got a good friend down there, Captain Larry Vineyard in Jacksonville, Florida. One of the best, the best actually in Florida. We got another friend, Tony Bozzella. Stay with him some. He's a fishing captain also. And we fish inshore and we catch redfish and flounder. Sometimes we'll get offshore and do some triple tail, sheephead, some trout and different stuff like that. But mainly redfish. It's a good time. Me and the wife go down there and do that. And it's a good time. A lot of people, I guess, be on a cruise down to the Bahamas, the Caribbean, Cancun, Cozumel, all that stuff. But we just enjoy the outdoors, and fishing and hunting. Usually we're in the mountains, or I don't know, or something doing some fishing. Not much of a beach person. I'm not one to lay around on the beach.
Yeah, my wife and I love fishing. Even if we don't catch anything, it's just relaxing.
Oh, yeah, man. Just get out and, have your cold beer and sit there, and whether it be in a boat or I've been working on the boat a little bit today, actually. Or sitting there on the bank, and doing some fishing. I love it, man. Just love it.
Okay, next question. If you were able to travel back in time and do time traveling, would you do anything differently?
I would not. I really wouldn't. I grew up in East Texas, like I said, so I grew up country. We lived in the country, and I really grew up poor. Very poor. I just didn't have a lot. The family didn't have a lot, but we made ends meet, and it was tough, And, went up through school, and then I went in the military, went into the Navy, spent 6 years in the Navy, which is probably the best thing that I ever did. We didn't have money for college or nothing, so I got my school in there, got my GI Bill, got me some college, did 6 years, did good. Best thing I ever did, and then the second best thing I ever did was get out, because I've used that education that I got to do what I'm doing now, because I'm a control room operator at a power plant now. Gas turbines, believe it or not, jet engines. Everybody asks why I don't drive a jet car, because my background's in jet engine. But I use that education that I got there now, and then it's all fallen in place, I've just been around some good people. I try to keep good people around me, and I work hard, and hopefully, it just continues to grow. But I wouldn't change anything. Wouldn't change it a bit. I guess growing up with nothing makes me appreciate more now, of what I didn't have then and what I can have now. It makes me appreciate the fans, the fans that come up and talk to me, no matter who they are. They'll talk about, I got me a hot rod, but it's not near as fast as what you're driving. Well, that don't matter to me, man. If that's what they like, I'm willing to talk about it, because I dig it, man. I mean, I know what that is coming up like that, and and I'll help them out any way I can. So I wouldn't change a thing.
That's good. So, do you have a favorite vacation spot, Joe?
Favorite vacation spot?
Yeah.
That would be Wyoming again. I'm stuck on the mountains. Up around Yellowstone, even Colorado. The San Juans down in southwestern Colorado, all the way up through Wyoming, western Montana. I love the mountains. I love the mountains. Last year, for my birthday, my 50th birthday last year, we went, me and the wife, to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and climbed the Grand Teton Mountain. I don't mean a little bit of climbing. This was fingernail hanging on, roped off, climbing. We hired a guide, and that's what I did for my 50th birthday. That would be my favorite spot in the world, out there in the mountains.
And what's Joe Haas' favorite food?
Joe Haas' favorite food? Well, my favorite food would probably be pizza, but I try to eat decent, so I don't eat a lot of it. I like a good ribeye. I'd have to say ribeye, man, but my favorite meal, I guess my favorite meal would be beans and cornbread. Just red beans or pinto beans and cornbread would be my favorite meal. And then ribeye steaks be a short second there behind it. Pizza's right in there with it. Like I said, I don't eat much of that. Good. Just ain't good for you.
Yeah, a lot of the guys answer pizza.
Yeah, I mean, pizza, it's just good. Whoever invented that was he was a good guy or a good woman or whatever. Yeah, it's good. It just ain't good for you. If I eat everything I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to fit in a Santa Claus.
Right. What's your favorite beverage?
Favorite beverage? Let's see here. I don't know. As far as a carbonated drink, I'd have to say Sprite. But I like root beer too. So I'd probably say Sprite as far as carbonated. And iced tea. I like iced tea. Believe it or not, I'm from the South, but I like it unsweet. I don't like sugar in it.
So when you're at the track, you drink a lot of iced tea or water?
Mainly water and Gatorade. Gatorade, I like it. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it just helps put them electrolytes back in you. But mainly water. Right. I drink a lot of water. But, water's boring. Water ain't fun, but, I drink a lot of it.
Yeah. Favorite music?
Heavy metal, man. Heavy metal all the way.
Like 80s metal?
Well, I like 80s metal. I like the older stuff, but I like the new stuff, too. I keep up, with all the new stuff. Five Finger Death Punch, Slipknot. I love Black Label Society, which is the, Zakk Wylde was the lead guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne.
Right.
Yeah, so, man, the heavier the better. I'll listen to any kind of music. I like it all. Listen to country. My wife, if we're in the vehicle and she's driving, then we listen to country. If I'm driving, we listen to heavy metal. Unless sometimes if I'm in a bad mood, if she's driving, I'll still listen to heavy metal, which puts her in a bad mood. But it all works out, right? I like it all. I will even listen to, if I'm going to go out and dance or something, I'll listen to hip-hop.
Yeah.
But heavy metal where my heart lies.
Yeah. So in the pits, do you ever listen to heavy metal in the pit area?
Oh man, if we listen to what I wanted to listen to in the pit, everybody would be wanting to go out and stab somebody in the head or something. So we usually slack off a little. We might do a little 80s hair band, some classic rock, and which I like, and everybody else gets along with that a little bit better. Like I say, I think if I started playing my music in the pit, and they'd kick me out, I'd find another driver.
Maybe you can start a mosh pit in the drag race pit.
Absolutely, man. I'm down for that. Yeah.
So
I'll do that.
Who's your favorite 80s hair band?
Guns N' Roses. That's been my favorite. I like a lot of them, but Guns N' Roses, they're the band that I wish would have stayed together and done good for years. Of course they broke up, but I like them. Cinderella, Rat, Bon Jovi, Tesla, all of them. But Guns N' Roses is probably my favorite.
You have a favorite classic rock band?
Yeah, man, there's several of them too. Probably Aerosmith. Of course, they've got some newer stuff too, but Aerosmith, AC/DC,
Zeppelin?
Yeah, I like Zeppelin, but I was never crazy about them. And a lot of people kid me about that. They're like, you got to be kidding me. Now, I do like Stairway to Heaven. That's great. But I was never a big Zeppelin fan. I like, the Steve Miller Band, the Almonds, the Hollies, going back even a little bit further. But, I like all of them. Never much into Zeppelin. I did like Aerosmith and AC/DC, though.
How about Pink Floyd?
I did like Pink Floyd. Yep.
Yeah. Deep Purple?
Oh, man, yeah. That's a good one right there. Space Trucking?
Yeah. How about Ronnie James Dio?
I love him, too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there'll never be another Dio.
No, absolutely not. There's actually the song Holy Diver coming up into the modern music, Kill Switch Engage.
Right.
Which is they redid that and did a good job. Now, I like the Dio version for sure. But Kill Switch Engage got a lot of good stuff, and they did a pretty good cover on that Holy Diver.
Yeah, that's when they had the black guy Howard Jones was singing. Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So, what's the next question here? If you weren't drag racing, what do you think you'd be doing? Probably hunting, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'd be doing, hunting. And even throughout the winter, that's mainly what I do. We'll go up, and like I say, we'll be servicing the cars, going through them, getting everything certified. So I'll be taking several trips up north, 3 hours north of here, up where the cars are at. We'll go through that. We'll go through my son's car. But every day that I'm not doing something, I'm in the woods. That's just what I do.
What's been the
relaxing?
Yeah. Hunting's relaxing, fishing's relaxing. Yeah. The great outdoors, you can't beat that.
No, that's reality. You know, I'm a very real type of person, and just being out there gets you a little bit closer to reality, how it used to be. Now, you know, you sit around and watch the news and listen to the media and the normal hustle bustle, and even with the racing thing, I mean, you know, you're always going, you're on the road, and I love it. Some of the best times me and my son's ever had has been 3 in the morning going to a race. You know, it's times that you can't replace, but you're always busy. And you know, throughout the winter, there's some days that I can take, and like I say, my wife hunts too, so we can just go out and we split up. You know, we don't sit together, and it just gets you back to the basics. You know, it lets you know who's really in charge. You know, and it's not us. You know, we may think we are, but we're not. You know. Yeah, it just grounds you a little bit.
All right, got a few more questions. What's been your fondest memory of your drag racing career?
Fondest memory is them, I just mentioned, is them days and nights of me and my son being on the road in between races. You know, it's just watching him come up and grow into what he's done, and just the times that we've shared. That's my fondest memory. As far as events, it would be the 2012 World Series and setting the world record in the Jurassic Plastic. And as far as current events right now, the situation that I'm in with John Lawson and the Lawson family is the best drag racing team that I've ever been on. Everybody on the team, all of the crew guys, the Lawsons, it's just a great atmosphere, and I'm just looking forward to the years to come with that.
Now, if people want to follow the schedule for the two cars, what's the best way they can follow it?
Facebook. You can go to my personal Facebook, just my name, Joe Haas, 2 A's, 1 S, and we also have it's a long name, but it's John Lawson Runaway, Joe Haas Quick Draw Facebook site. Between my personal site and the John Lawson Runaway Joe Haas Quick Draw Facebook site, we try to keep the schedule updated. But that schedule, it's always fluid, you know. It really don't come together good. It starts coming together about February, you know, January, February, and it really doesn't get too solid until about April, and it still changes a little, so you have to keep up with that social media, you know, that Facebook site, because we'll have changes and we'll post them, you know, and then normally a week before every race, I will put out again on both sites, you know, where we're going to be that next week. Right. You know, if you don't catch the whole schedule as it comes together, then you can kind of follow along week by week.
Right. Any last words for the fans out there, Joe?
Oh, man, I just enjoy every single fan out there. For anybody that's listening at any time, if you're ever at a race, you know, and we're there, stop by the pit, say hi, check out the car. We'll let you walk right up to it, touch it, feel it, jump in it. You know, I mean, we're very relaxed. I just enjoy every single fan out there. We are doing this to please the fans. We have fun doing it. We have a great time, but it's for the fans. I'm a fan. You know, we're all fans. We just like it. So yeah, I love every one of them, every single fan.
Sounds good, Joe. I want to thank you very much for your time for this interview.
Yeah, Dave, no problem at all. And call back anytime, like I say. If you get out to a race, stop by and say hi.
Definitely will. You have a good night, Joe.
All right, man. Have a good evening. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.